Hello, I'm Clark Crawford, and welcome back to the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. We're talking NFL Week 3 recap today, and an NFL Week 4 predictions slash, what you need to know around the NFL. I give my weekly recap and NFL predictions for the next picks, weeks of games here on my YouTube channel. So check it out, and if this is the first time you're seeing me, hit the subscribe button to help me out as well. So we're going to go through the NFL Week 3 games. But before that, I am a total, even though I missed Week 1, I still did picks. Some picks I do with some family, friends, whatever. I am 30-18 so far in the year. That is concluding through Week 3. So a pretty good success rate so far, but always looking to improve that. We're going to start with the Jets and Patriots. It was all Jets in Week 3 against the Patriots. I predicted the Jets to win, and well, they did so, pretty much manhandling the Patriots in every facet of the game. Breece Hall was good, Aaron Rodgers was good, and the Patriots, well, had trouble mustering drives to even really get deep into Jets territory, and well, this was a pretty easy pick. There wasn't much to it. The Jets dominated the Patriots, and that's going to move us on to the Giants and Browns. I picked the Browns in this one, but the Giants get the, as I call it, an upset victory for their first victory of the season. The Giants win 21-15. Malik Nabers, rookie stud, probably going to be all pro someday. I mean, this kid can play. He has 2 touchdowns in this one, making Daniel Jones look like a competent quarterback. That's very hard to do. And the Browns, Deshaun Watson and company continue to struggle. And another big thing in this game that happened, Myles Garrett left the game. Not sure what his week 4 status is yet. He might be trending towards playing, but that is still going to remain undetermined as of right now. So a big impact to potentially the Browns season. They need to figure out their quarterback situation. The running backs haven't been great as well. I know Nick Chubb is still on the PUP list, IR / whatever, and the Browns are just struggling as they're one of the highest salary cap teams out there. I mean, if you can't win when you're spending bukus of money, I don't know what to tell you. But the Browns are 1-2 after week 3. They just didn't play well yet again at home after they got embarrassed by the Cowboys at home in week 1. The Browns look to be, so far, one of the worst teams in the league. They've got a lot of work to do. That's going to take us to the Colts, who got their first win of the year, 21-16 against the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams was okay in this one, though it was not enough. Anthony Richardson made just enough plays to bring the victory home for the Colts, though not to say it was so much Anthony Richardson. It was the Jonathan Taylor show. They really jumped on his back, kind of the Marshawn Lynch, kind of Greg Jennings, if you know what I mean, football fans. They hopped on his back, and he carried them to victory. The Colts get their first victory so far of the year. Caleb Williams still has a lot of growing up to do and everything. He's been okay as a rookie. But for number 1 overall picks per se, he's got a lot to improve because, well, with the number 1 pick comes higher expectations than everyone else. So Caleb Williams and the Bears fall to 1-2. I know a lot of crazy Bears fans out there were saying, "Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl this year." Well, I already knew this, and you should have too. You got to temper expectations. You're not going to go from a non-playoff team to a Super Bowl team very often, and it almost never happens exactly like that. So calm down, Bears fans. You've got a lot of work to do. Your run game, DeAndre Swift, has been almost non-existent. You really need to give the ball to Roschon Johnson if you're going to run the ball more. And, of course, the Bears so far have one of the worst offensive lines in football. They're going to have to fix that before some winning comes to Chicago, because if your quarterback, no matter who it is, doesn't have time to throw, you're not going to win very many games. The Texans got humbled by the Vikings 34-7. This game was all Vikings from the kick. Justin Jefferson dominates the Texans in the first half, going for a touchdown and over 80 yards. They basically didn't even use him in the second half. I mean, he had a drop in what could have been or should have been a first down. Scores a touchdown. Aaron Jones ran all up and down the Texans defense. And former Texan in a revenge game, Jonathan Grenard had 3 sacks. The Texans offensive line looked lost. and Laramie Tunsil had about 1,000 penalties. There's almost nothing positive from this game for the Texans other than Cam Akers scoring a touchdown. And the other positive, CJ Stroud came out of it unscathed. And of course, he is healthy enough to play in week 4. He didn't get injured. That's about all I can say positive from the Texans part. Even Kaimi Fairbairn missed a field goal in this one. Obviously, you're not going to go perfect kicking all season long, but that's about it. I mean, the Texans did not play well on every side of the ball, special teams, offense, and defense, and it showed. The Vikings manhandled them 34-7 to go to 3-0. The Texans get their first loss of the year to drop to 2-1. Saints and Eagles was, well, the Saints held the Eagles scoreless for the first 3 quarters, and then Saquon Barkley got loose to bring the Eagles their second win of the year. The Eagles lose Devontae Smith in this game. That's a big loss considering A.J. Brown is trending towards missing his 3rd consecutive game. And Devontae Smith, considering he has a concussion, he's got a clear concussion protocol. And the Eagles have a bye week in week 5. They're one of the first teams to have a bye week this season. So it's probably best that even if Devontae Smith clears concussion protocol, for his safety's sake, even though I have him in multiple fantasy leagues, but for his safety's sake, it's probably best Devontae Smith sits in this game so he has this week, next week, and then finally in week 6, he could potentially come back from that concussion injury. I don't think he's had very many throughout his career, if any, but just for his health and everything, I wouldn't bring Devontae Smith back until after the bye week. And the Saints, well, they played great defense in this game. Their offense just couldn't quite muster enough. I know they got a late touchdown from Chris Olave, but then they gave it right back to the Eagles. Olave scored with just over 2 minutes left, and the Eagles stormed down the field to win the game. Kind of an embarrassing loss for the Saints. They had it right there in their grasp. They fall to 2-1, but luckily for the Saints, they won their first 2 games of the year. Derek Carr fell back down to earth in this one. I knew he would at some point, though we'll see which Derek Carr shows up in week 4. The Saints are 2-1, still in a good spot, so nothing to be gloom about there in New Orleans. You're still in a good spot. You control your own destiny right now. Just go out and win some more games. The Chargers lose the game, and they lost Justin Herbert, plus several other injuries. The Chargers are beaten up as they lost multiple key players to injuries in the game against the Steelers. The Steelers are 3-0. I was wrong about them in this week. I picked the Chargers to win. And, well, the Steelers proved me wrong. And what just blows my mind is, of all people, and maybe it was just the Chicago Bears bringing him down, but Justin Fields. Yes, that Justin Fields from a couple drafts ago. He's 3-0 after it seemed like he could never win a game in Chicago. Obviously, he won some games, but you see where I'm going at. Justin Fields is 3-0. Mike Tomlin is a damn good coach in this league. And the Steelers really beat up the Chargers. Other than that first quarter touchdown from the Chargers to take a 7-0 lead. Since then, the Steelers outscored them 20-3 the rest of the game. The Steelers' defense is phenomenal. No surprise there. They still got T.J. Watt and company. And, well, the Steelers are doing just enough to win football games. It's never pretty over the last probably 4 or 5 years since Roethlisberger retired. But the Steelers are finding a way to win games, finding a way to stay relevant, even though their quarterback situation isn't top 5 in the league. Hats off to the Steelers in a big win. They're 3-0, and they lead the NFC North. Part 2 of 3 for the Week 3 games. I couldn't get them all on one screen, so I broke it up a little. The biggest shocker of the week for me is going to the Denver Broncos, a 26-7 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had Tampa Bay in this game. Obviously, I'm not going to get every pick right every week, though. If Denver was going to win, I expected it to be maybe by a field goal, maybe 7 points, but they go and blow Tampa Bay out. That's the road team. Tampa Bay was home, riding a 2-0 record. Baker Mayfield looks like the league MVP. I even said it in my video last week of if it were after 2 weeks, and I know there's a long way to go in the NFL regular season, Baker Mayfield would have to be regular season MVP, right? Well, Baker Mayfield stunk. The Broncos and Bo Nix, who picks up his first career win. Congratulations to Bo Nix. He gets his first career win, and the Broncos just kicked Tampa Bay's tails up and down the field all day long. Baker Mayfield has multiple turnovers, and Bo Nix well, he protected the ball. The Broncos' run game got going a little bit, and the Broncos still have a solid defense, which is going to keep them in games. So, Bo Nix, if the defense can kind of ride you a little bit and give you chances to win, the Broncos may surprise some people and potentially win 7 or 8 games this year because, well, they've still got Patrick Surtain, one of the top corners in the league, one of the top defensive players overall in the league, and him and the rest of the Broncos defense may keep them in just enough games to get a few more surprise victories. So hats off to the Broncos, and, well, the Buccaneers have got a lot of work to do now because they thought they were riding high and had an easy, not necessarily an easy victory, but certainly a lot of people out there thought they did. And, well, the Broncos came and punched them in the mouth. The Packers handle the Titans, the Malik Willis revenge game. After he was drafted a couple of years ago in 2022 by Tennessee, they traded him to Green Bay, and, well, he went and manhandled the Tennessee Titans at Tennessee. So I wonder how that makes Titans fans feel of, well, they have Will Levis now, who they thought was better than Malik Willis. And now the Packers have turned Malik Willis into a competent quarterback after Tennessee is sitting here going, well, we can't stand another minute of this guy. And then he comes and beats you. So I can only imagine how Tennessee fans are feeling right now. They're 0-3. Will Levis just, wow, he has not looked good at all. The Packers win 30-14. Josh Jacobs, Malik Willis, Jaden Reed. I mean, the Packers still have a lot of good players, talented players on the roster. Their defense played well. And, well, the Titans have a lot of work to do to not end up with the number 1 overall pick, but to be honest, it might be best if they do because, well, the Titans stink through 3 weeks. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Panthers upset the Raiders 36-22. The Red Rifle, yes, Andy Dalton, we found out midweek last week he was going to start for the Carolina Panthers, and that turns out to be the best decision of the week because they scored 36 points after they could barely muster field goals and maybe one touchdown here and there in the first 2 weeks of the year. An impressive showing by the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, potentially showing he may be, if Carolina wanted to go that route, trade him at the NFL trade deadline and get something for him. I don't think they will because the veteran presence in the locker room is probably the best bet for maybe a potential Bryce Young return later on this season to try to, spark his confidence, get, his ego back up there to say, hey, Bryce Young, you can still play in this league. Now, right now, he hasn't been very good. I'm not saying he's going to be, an all-time Hall of Famer, though. For what's best for Bryce Young potential development in the future is probably learning from Andy Dalton, sitting the bench for maybe another 6 to 10 games. And then if the Panthers are eliminated from the playoffs, maybe then bring Bryce Young back for the last couple of games in the regular season to see what he can do so the Panthers can try to figure out their future. As for the Las Vegas Raiders, they were embarrassing in this one. Davante Adams was pretty much a non-factor for the most part. I thought the Raiders were going to win this game. They proved me wrong. Antonio Pierce showed some coaching flaws in this one. The Raiders just didn't have it together, and it showed. I mean, you can get beat by anybody week in and week out, and that's what happened here. The Panthers go and win their first game of the year. Maybe with Andy Dalton, they won't be the laughingstock of the league, though only time will tell. So the Panthers get their first win of the year. The Raiders drop to 1-2. The Seattle Seahawks, 24-3, run all over the Dolphins in this one. Geno Smith is leading the Seahawks in the NFC West and overall to a 3-0 record. The Dolphins fall to 1-2. Skylar Thompson didn't even survive the game. He ends up getting hurt. They have to go to Tim Boyle, and he was no better. He's making Tyreek Hill one of the top 5 receivers, if not top 3 receivers in the league, look irrelevant. Jalen Waddle doesn't look like a top 15, 20 receiver in the league either. The Dolphins arguably have 3 of the top weapons offensively in the NFL. A-Chain still coming into his own, but an extremely talented player. Of course, Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Though, for their sake, they can only muster 3 points because of quarterback play. Seattle dominated this game from the start, and, well, they get a big win, 24-3, and they sit up top the NFC West at 3-0. Seattle looks to be firing on all cylinders with their rookie coach. The Detroit Lions win 20-13 after suffering a loss at home to Tampa Bay the week before. The Lions do just enough in this game to pull across a victory. Though they lose Sam Laporta, he still played after his injury, but Sam Laporta has not been Sam Laporta. Jameson Williams didn't do too much. It was mostly Amon-Ra St. Brown in the run game. Jared Goff does enough to win this game 20-13. The Cardinals fall to 1-2, though. I mean, the Cardinals had chances to win this game. Kyler Murray just didn't show up at home. And, well, Marvin Harrison Jr. looked good, though it wasn't enough. So Arizona's got to go back to the drawing board at 1-2 and try to figure out how to win some more ball games because, well, Kyler Murray, he's healthy from the injury, and the Cardinals are kind of a sleeper team this year after their big Week 2 win. And we'll see what else they have in store for the rest of the year. I think Arizona's got some pretty good potential. Maybe they don't put it all together this year, though for the future, if Arizona can continue to build maybe another offensive weapon, look out for Arizona here in the coming years. The Ravens get a big first win against the Dallas Cowboys, 28-25. It really wasn't that close. The Ravens controlled the game until about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Obviously, you got to give your credit to Dallas for fighting back in it. Though the Ravens did enough to win this game, they pick up their first win of the year, 1-2. The Cowboys fall to 0-2 at home. They got that Week 1 win against the Browns on the road. And the Cowboys play on Thursday night, which is tonight as I'm recording this video. So I'll let you know what I think about that game here coming up in a few minutes. The Cowboys, another embarrassing home loss. They're 0-2 after they had won 16 in a row at home, not counting the playoff game last year. So if you count the playoff game last year, they've lost their last 3. Yes, count them. 1, 2, 3 home games. That's embarrassing. The Dallas Cowboys continue to be a laughing stock in the NFL ever since the 90s for the most part. Obviously, they've won some games and things like that, made a few playoff appearances, but it's the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, everyone knows who they are. It's one of the first teams you think of in the league. And, well, I think it's hilarious. I'm a Cowboy hater. And, well, congratulations to the Ravens, your first win. They desperately needed that. If they fell to 0-3, they may miss the playoffs because of the percentage teams in league history who have fallen to 0-3. To come back to make the playoffs is a short list and a extremely low percentage at that. Final results of Week 3, we got 4 more games to talk about. The 49ers and the Rams squared off, and I took the 49ers in this game, and they made me look like a fool. They gave up 10 points in the final couple of minutes to let the Rams tie the game and then kick a game-winning field goal with about 2 seconds left. Just an embarrassing loss for the San Francisco 49ers. They had the game in their grasp and then just gave it away. The Rams pick up their first win of the year, and the Niners, who were one of the Super Bowl favorites coming into the year, fall to 1-2. Injuries continue to plague them. They had no George Kittle. Deebo Samuel continues to be hurt. Christian McCaffrey's out. Apparently, he's going to Germany for an MRI. That's never good. So Christian McCaffrey could miss more and more and more time than expected, as the IR stint is at least 4 weeks. It sounds as though we're not going to see Christian McCaffrey till mid-season, if not week 12, 14, 16. We don't know. Though that's a big loss for the 49ers. Jordan Mason is a quality backup running back, though he's no Christian McCaffrey. He can be serviceable, though, like I said, he's no Christian McCaffrey. The 49ers are going to have to figure things out. The Rams, no matter how banged up they are, don't count them out, as I did. And they made me look like a fool. So the Rams pick up their first win even without Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and a bunch of other players. Those are the most notable ones on their team. The Rams win 27-24. Kansas City Chiefs, 22-17 over the Falcons. Yes, there were some questionable calls late in that game, though the Falcons still had a chance to win. I'm not going to talk about the refs. I'm not going to talk about anything like that, though the Falcons had a 4th and 1 late in the game. If they convert that, they're in prime position to go punch the ball in the end zone and win the game. They don't. And, well, the Falcons, like I said, they had other chances to win the game. The Chiefs come away with the victory 22-17. Rashee Rice dominates in this one, as he's been one of the best receivers in the league so far. Mahomes has a couple of turnovers, but does just enough to win this game. And Kansas City, they haven't looked great in any of their first 3 games. They've had a drive or 2 in each game, though they haven't looked nearly like the back-to-back Super Bowl champs. So watch out for the Chiefs if they actually get clicking. Their offense just never seemed to 100% click last year. And so far, the same this year. Travis Kelce's MIA. He has like 6 catches on the year through 3 games. I don't know what the heck's going on there. Is Travis Kelce washed? I don't think so yet. I'm not willing to go that far with it, though there's something going on in the Kansas City air or something, because Travis Kelce is looking, and just like most of the rest of the tight ends in the league, I don't know what the heck happened to their tight end TEU that they try, and a bunch of tight ends get together in the offseason, though most of the tight ends are just been garbage so far this year. That's something else to watch around the league. Will the tight ends start to get more involved? I know some of them are hurt and whatnot, though that's another storyline in the NFL so far this year. What happened to the tight ends? It looks back like the 90s and the 80s where the tight ends hardly got used. I don't know what's going on there. Monday night had 2 games. The Buffalo Bills dismantled the Jacksonville Jaguars 47-10. The Bills are 3-0. The Jaguars look like the worst team in the league so far because, well, the Panthers got a win, and they looked competent last week. And the Jaguars are the opposite. They got blown out, or, well, they lost a close one, to the Dolphins in week 1, which they should have easily won. Travis Etienne fumbled at the goal line, which would have nearly sealed the win, and then the Dolphins came back and won and beat them. Then they had a close game against the Browns last week. They couldn't find a way to win, and now they get dismantled by the Bills. Trevor Lawrence, they paid him $275 million. He can't even win a football game now. Trevor Lawrence has lost his last 8 regular season starts. Yes, his last 8 regular season starts. His last win was against the Texans last year when the Jaguars had like a 3-game division lead at the time, and then the Texans come storming back. Whatever it was, it may have only been a 2-game division lead, but nonetheless, his last win was in Houston last year, which is where they're going to be playing this upcoming week on Sunday. Though the Bills, give them all the credit in the world. James Cook was good again. He just had limited touches because it was another blowout. Josh Allen throws 4 touchdowns in the first half. He was incredible. The Bills blow him out 47-10. Josh Allen threw a touchdown to about every receiver, tight end, running back on the roster, damn near. So the Bills pick up a big win, and, well, that was a wrap for that game. It was an awful Monday night game. Luckily, we had a second one that gave us some excitement. The Washington Commanders, yes, the 2-1 Washington Commanders, with Jayden Daniels, the rookie, not playing like a rookie at quarterback, pick up a big win on the road to send the Bengals packing to 0-3. Jayden Daniels finally gets Terry McLaurin involved, throwing a touchdown to him. He had another rushing touchdown. He is using his legs well and leading the Commanders to a 2-1 victory. Joe Burrow plays extremely well, though it wasn't enough. It's the first game in NFL history without a punt or a turnover. That's impressive. So the Commanders pick up a big win, and the Bengals go to 0-3, just taking their playoff hopes from maybe 15 to 20%, and their playoff hopes are going through a hole in the floor right now. So the Bengals have a lot of work to do if they want to attempt to make the playoffs, though it doesn't look pretty right now. The Bengals have a lot of work to do. And, well, 0-3, that's going to be a large hill to climb. I'm not saying the Bengals are eliminated. It's only been 3 weeks, though. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, wow, that's one of the shockers in the league so far. 0-3 for the Cincinnati Bengals. I wasn't predicting them to make the Super Bowl or anything this year. I certainly did not believe they would be 0-3, though. Another storyline to watch, can the Bengals climb out of that hole? 4, which will kick off with tonight with the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants, 2 1-2 teams in desperate need of a win. Though for this one, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Giants. The Giants are not a good team. I know they picked up their first win last week, though the Cowboys are a much better team, not just on paper, on the field. They've got Prescott, they got CeeDee, they got Micah Parsons. Even though the Giants have a stud rookie in Malik Neighbors, I don't think it's going to be enough to bring home a victory in this one. The Cowboys are going to beat the Giants on the road and pick up their second win of the year. I think CeeDee Lamb scores in this one once, if not twice, and Malik Neighbors might even bring in a touchdown because both teams' secondaries have not been very good. I expect it to be more of a pass-heavy game because there's holes, like I said, in both team secondaries, and the Cowboys are going to come away with the victory in this game. Probably going to be more of a, let's say, 31-20 Cowboys win. That's what I'm going to go with. Saints and Falcons are next up on the Week 4 slate. The Saints are 2-1 and the Falcons are 1-2. I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one. Even though the Saints are 2-1, I just think with their loss last week to the Eagles, they're going to be a little bit down, and the Falcons are going to scratch and claw their way to a victory in this one because, well, the Falcons can definitely not afford to fall to 1-3 on the season with Kirk Cousins paying them all that money as their quarterback. The Falcons, they had a chance to win several of their games in both of their losses and came up short. I don't think the Falcons come up short yet again. The Falcons are going to move to 2-2, along with the New Orleans Saints falling to 2-2 in the what I have the Falcons winning in this ball game. The 0-3 Bengals against the 1-2 Panthers. It's at Carolina. I know I said this last week. I can't see the Bengals falling to 0-3, yet they did. I'm going to take the Bengals one more time. And, well, if they fool me a third or fourth or fifth time, whatever it is, it's going to be a fourth time, though, in this instance. I'm going to take the Bengals one more time. The Panthers, just because they had Andy Dalton and had one good week, I'm banking on the Panthers to not win 2 weeks in a row. They still have a lot of deficiencies among the rest of their team. Their run game hasn't been that great. They lost Adam Thielen. Their defense isn't great. So I'm going to take Joe Burrow to go on the road and get the Bengals' first win to not drop to 0-4. Hopefully the Bengals can prove me right finally this season, as I'm not very good at picking the Bengals so far this year. It's they're 0-3. The Bengals beat the Panthers in Week 4. Rams against the Bears. I'm taking the Bears in this one. The Rams, they're too banged up. I know they got a big win against the 49ers last week. Though the Bears are at home, they're not going to lose every game at home this year. I'm going to take the Bears just for the sole fact they're healthier, and I believe they have a better defense than the Rams, and Caleb Williams will do just enough to win this game. It's probably going to be more of an ugly game with both offenses struggling for the most part so far this year. The Bears, they haven't looked great, though I'm going to take them at home in this one, mostly for the sole fact they're at home, and the Rams are still missing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Kyren Williams can't carry them every single week. I mean, I'm sure he could, though, you know, they're going to have to find somebody else to step up as well. The Bears are going to win a close one, something 17-14, 17-13, somewhere like that. I expect it to be a low-scoring game. The Packers and the Vikings. The Vikings are 3-0, Packers 2-1. If you ask me, I think Jordan Love is playing. The Packers are playing it safe and keeping the Vikings on their toes, thinking Malik Willis is going to start. So they have to game plan for Malik Willis and Jordan Love. I see Jordan Love coming back in this one. I don't know that for a fact yet, but I believe Jordan Love will play in this one. It's at home. He's going to be fired up with the Green Bay faithful there. Even if Jordan Love plays, I'm taking Green Bay in this game on the record just because Green Bay's at home. The Vikings are a surprising 3-0. I think the Vikings are a good team, though they're due for kind of a punch in the mouth so far. I didn't expect the Vikings to be 3-0 so far, yet here we are. The Packers are going to win this game because they're at home. And you know how it can be in Green Bay. It gets loud. The Packer fans are some of the most rowdy fans in the NFL. And I think they're due for a big win on their schedule after starting 0-1 to go and win 3 in a row. If Malik Willis plays, I would lean towards Minnesota, though I would still take Green Bay. I think they're the better team, though I see Green Bay and I'm picking them because I think Jordan Love's going to play and come and tear apart the Vikings. The Jaguars 0-3 are going on the road to face the 2-1 Texans. The Jaguars are just, their offense has been bad. They can't even score 20 points on the season. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Though, don't take the Jaguars lightly in this game. Number one, they can't afford to fall to 0-4. Number two, it's a division rivalry game. And number three, the Jaguars starting 0-4 is probably pretty unlikely, though I'm going to pick the Texans to win this game. I think it's going to be closer than most people think. I haven't seen the lines or anything for this game. I am expecting maybe the Texans are a 4.5-point favorite, maybe less, though I'm still going to take the Texans, even though it seems Joe Mixon is trending towards not playing, and it also seems that Tank Dell is not going to play in this game. 2 big losses for the Texans offense. I'm going to take them in a 23-17 17 game. I think the Jaguars do enough to stay in this game, though I'm going to take the Texans to win this game. A lower scoring, hard fought win for the Houston Texans in this one to move to 3-1, sole possession of first place in the division, and knock the Jaguars to an 0-4, almost impossible hole to crawl out of in the AFC South and really in any division if you think about it. The Steelers and the Colts are playing in week 4. The Steelers 3-0, the Colts are 1-2. Something tells me, even though I got it wrong last week, I'm going to go against the Steelers again. I don't believe in them. I don't believe in Justin Fields. Their defense, yes, has played extremely well. My sole factor is I don't believe in Justin Fields to win another game. Anthony Richardson, yeah, he's been inconsistent. I know that. Call me crazy. I'm going to take the Colts at home in this one. The Colts are hungry for a win, as the Steelers are as well. I understand that. Though the Colts need this win to not fall to 1-3, especially if the Texans move to 3-1 in the AFC South. Jonathan Taylor, they're going to have to rely heavily on him if they want to win this game. Though I'm going to take the Colts in this one. The Steelers, just call me crazy, but I know I said it last week. There's no way the Steelers are going to 3-0. I'm going to double down and say there's no way the Steelers are moving to 4-0. The Steelers moved to 4-0. My gosh, you cannot tell me this is real life. The Steelers' offense is just not that good. I'll have Arthur Smith. Yes, Arthur Smith, who couldn't even use Bijan Robinson correctly last year, are going to move to 4-0. No chance, no way, no how. I'm going to double down, like I said, in this one. The Colts are going to beat the Steelers in this one to move to 2-2. The Broncos and the Jets. The Jets looked really good last week against the Patriots. I know it's against the Patriots. They're not very good. They're trying to improve. I think Gerard Mayo's done a nice job through 3 weeks. He's just going through some rookie coaching growing pains, and he has Jacoby Brissett and an unproven Drake May at quarterback. The Jets are 2-1. The Broncos are 1-2. The Broncos are not going to pull 2 big upset wins in a row. The Jets are going to win this one. They look good. Their rookie running back, Braylon Allen, looks good. Breece Hall's been good. You got Aaron Rodgers looking like he's 30 right now. You still got Garrett Wilson. Too many offensive weapons for the Jets. I'm going to take the Jets in this one, probably blowing out the Broncos. That's what I'm going to predict. The Jets win by at least 10 points in week 4 against the Broncos. Sorry, Denver, you're not winning 2 big games like this in a row. You're not a very good football team. Even if you have Sean Payton, who's a likely Hall of Fame coach, you're not going to win 2 big games in a row. You don't have the talent. The Eagles and the Buccaneers, the big problem for the Eagles right now is they're likely not going to have A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith is trending towards missing this game. You've got Saquon Barkley, a bunch of unproven receivers, and Dallas Goedert on the offensive side of the ball. Tampa Bay, I know they're a little banged up. And, well, Tampa Bay's biggest problem, and I think part of the reason they lost last week is Mike Evans has been MIA the last couple of weeks. What happened to the Baker Mayfield-Mike Evans combination that we saw all season long last year? Chris Godwin's been incredible, having the best 3-game stretch of his career, you can argue. He probably is. And, well, Tampa Bay is 2-1. The Eagles are 2-1. This is a rematch of the wild card round from last year, which Tampa Bay beat the Eagles in Tampa Bay. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win again for the sole factor of it's likely A.J. Brown's not going to play. And because of the bye week situation that I mentioned earlier in the video, probably no Devontae Smith because the Eagles have a bye week next week. I'm going to take Tampa Bay because Jalen Hurts is nowhere to throw the ball. I understand, and that's no disrespect for the rest of the Eagles wide receivers. I'm just going to be honest. They're unproven, and I don't trust them. He's going to have to rely heavily on Dallas Goedert again and Saquon Barkley. Yeah, he can throw them the ball. Though, if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm stacking the box every play and say, where's Saquon? Where's Saquon? And force those unproven receivers and Dallas Goedert, who can be up and down at times as well, to beat you. Tampa Bay's going to win this game because the Eagles are without their top 2 weapons on offense. The Commanders and the Cardinals are squaring off in week 3. 2-1 Commanders. Rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels looking great so far. 1-2 Arizona. Even though they're coming off a big win against the Bengals, yes, it's a big win because, well, not too many people predicted the Commanders to be 2-1 so far in the year. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one at home. I know they lost a tough one to the Lions last week. They're going to rebound this week. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison are going to look great. They may not have Trey McBride, but they're going to have enough The Cardinals, in my opinion, right now are the better team. The Commanders secondary and their defense can be a little spotty. That's where I see Kyler Murray and the Cardinals to have the advantage. So I'm going to take the Cardinals at home in this one solely because of their home team. They're going to be favored slightly. And while take the Cardinals in this one, the Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are going to go through rookie growing pains. I just see them taking a step back this week, and I'll take both teams to be 2-2 after 4 weeks. The Patriots travel to the San Francisco 49ers. This one, the Patriots, I don't know who they're going to start at QB. I think it's still going to be Jacoby Brissett, but I would consider going to Drake May. The 49ers, I know they have a ton of injuries. Though if you're telling me the Patriots are going to go into San Francisco and win, I'm going to call you crazy. The Niners may not win by their projected roughly 10 points that they're predicted to win, though the San Francisco 49ers are going to find a way to win this game. Brock Purdy is expected to play. I know he got a little banged up last week. I don't know about George Kittle, but if he plays, it's a huge boost. They've still got Jordan Mason. Brandon Ayuk has been MIA. I expect him to have a big game. Jawan Jennings, 3-touchdown performance. They still have him. 49ers are not falling to 1-3. Call me crazy, though I'm going to pick the 49ers against the Patriots. The Patriots are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. I got to go with the 49ers in this one. It should be a pretty easy one to pick. That's who I would pick for my survivor this week. Potentially the 49ers or even the Jets if you're looking for a survivor pick. The Chiefs against the Chargers. I don't know if Justin Herbert's going to play, and even if Justin Herbert was playing because he's banged up, Kansas City should steamroll the Chargers. I know Jim Harbaugh is the Chargers coach now, and I think he could potentially keep it close, though it's Kansas City. They seem to always beat the Chargers since Patrick Mahomes became their quarterback. And well, guess what? Patrick Mahomes is still their quarterback. I'm taking Kansas City to win in this one. Probably going to be a big-time win for Kansas City. I don't know a big-time blowout, but it's going to be a big win for them. Maybe part of their coming-out party this year is their offense has been shaky so far this year. Maybe it's finally Travis Kelce's breakout party of 2024. Who knows? I expect Rashee Rice to play well. Even though the run game isn't as explosive without Pacheco, they still got Mahomes. Herbert's banged up. This seems to be a pretty easy pick. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the San Diego Chargers. The Chiefs will be 4-0, and the Chargers will move to 2-2. Brings us to the last 4 games in Week 4. It's going to be the Browns and the Raiders first. 1-2 Browns against the 1-2 Raiders. My biggest thing here is I'm not 100% sure if Myles Garrett is going to play. So here, I'm going to take the Vegas Raiders to pull off the win here. If Myles Garrett doesn't play, I like the Raiders in this one. If he does play, I may lean towards the Browns and change that pick. But as of right now, I don't know about Myles Garrett, how serious that injury is. I know he's missed practice so far this week. That sometimes is not a bad sign. Sometimes it's a bad sign. Though I'm going to take the Raiders. I think they do enough after being embarrassed by the Panthers. They come back and get a big win this week against the Browns, moving the Browns to 1-3. The Browns' offense is not trustworthy. Their defense keeps them in games, but if they don't have their best overall player and best defender, they're not winning this game. The Raiders are going to move to 2-2. I'm picking the Raiders as of right now, though if Myles Garrett plays, that's going to be pending if Myles Garrett plays, obviously. So maybe I'll switch to the Browns, though I'll let y'all know next week in my video if Myles Garrett played or if I switched that pick or not. The Buffalo Bills and Ravens on Sunday Night Football, that's definitely one I'll be tuned into. The Bills are 3-0. The Ravens are 1-2. I'm going to pick the Bills to get their first loss of the year. I know they've looked great, though the Ravens are going to be hungrier. I know they're 1-2 and the Bills are 3-0. The Bills have looked better, don't get me wrong. But on the road here, Josh Allen having to travel to Baltimore. I still give the Bills a good chance to win this game, though the Ravens need this game more than the Bills. They really desperately need to get to 2-2, and that's why I'm picking the Ravens in this one. They're going to be just hungrier enough and do just enough to win this game. I expect it to be a close one, probably within 7 points. The Ravens pick up a big home win to move to 2-2 on the year. The Ravens still have a really good defense. I think it just does enough to beat Josh Allen and the Bills to get their second win of the season. The Monday night games, we got 2 for a second consecutive week. I love 2 Monday night games, 2 games on at once. I know some people don't, but too bad. I love it, and I'm rolling with it. The Dolphins 1-2 against the 0-3 Titans. This is probably one of the toughest games of the week to pick, considering it came out before I recorded this video. Tyler Huntley, the Dolphins might have to play their 4th quarterback of the season in the 4th game of the year, as it was Tua. Then Skylar Thompson got hurt last week. Tim Boyle saw some snaps, and now it seems Tyler Huntley is their best option to play. Trust me, Tyler Huntley's better than Tim Boyle, so the Dolphins should have a better chance to win that football game. If you ask me, it's going to be a close one. The Titans stink. They're 0-3. Right now, even though the Dolphins have quarterback problems, there's no way I can pick the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to pick the Dolphins. They're at home. They're going to use that home crowd and maybe win by 3 to 5, 6 points. Maybe not even by that much. Maybe they win by a game-winning field goal, win by 1. Either way, I have the Dolphins winning. They still got Tyreek Hill. You got to get Hill involved. You got to get Waddle involved. Give the ball to A-Chain. Just give the ball to those 3 guys all game long, and you should be in good shape. Give them a block and let them run upfield. Throw some screens, some slants, some out routes. Just get the ball in their hands, and hopefully they can make some guys miss to give yourself a chance to win. Skylar Thompson did an awful job last week of even seeing the guys. There were several places Tyreek Hill was wide open, and Skylar Thompson looked like he had a blindfold on. So the Dolphins, you need to get the ball to your playmaker to have a chance to win. I understand that's easier said than done, but find a way to do it. I know their coach, Mike McDaniel, has the ability. He's got a million plays in his playbook. Got to have a better scheme. And I think with Tyler Huntley's running ability, the Dolphins will be in better shape than they were last year, because Skylar Thompson's not a good quarterback. There's no question about it. Look how he played last week. I don't even know why, to be honest, he's on an NFL roster, though he is. And, well, that's the Dolphins' problem, not mine. The 3-0 Seahawks against the 2-1 Lions. Seahawks have played really well through 3 weeks, though I think they're due for a setback. I'm going to take the Lions at home on Monday night in this one. The Lions really haven't hit on all cylinders yet. They might not have Sam Laporta in this game, which might be for the best. I believe they have a bye week coming up after this. So if you rest Laporta, maybe he'll finally get healthy, though yet again, Laporta's been MIA so far this year. The Lions, to me, have more firepower than the Seattle Seahawks. That's why I'm going to take the Lions in this one. Though so far, the Seahawks defense has looked outstanding. Though the Lions, their offensive weapons, Jahmyr Gibbs, they still got David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Jared Goff. They've got more than enough firepower to pull off the win, especially at home. The Lions are one of the tougher teams at home to beat the last couple of years. I'm going to take the Lions to wrap up my Week 4 picks here in 2024 early in the season. I'm 30-18 so far, looking to go 31-19 if the Cowboys win tonight. So that's going to wrap up the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Thank you all for watching.